Hey guys, welcome to a new podcast episode at Peaky Ads channel, and we have Txema Hermoso on air. A marvelous Txema Hermoso. We know him from other podcasts with me on other channels. He's an outstanding SEO expert, and Txema, congratulations on your new beginnings, on your new path about Dr. SEO. I've heard you launched your own company. Congratulations on that. And you're not new on this channel, but maybe some of our viewers new here. So could you introduce you in short? What are you doing exactly?
Yeah, so basically, my name is Txema. I'm Spanish. I've been working mostly on iGaming industry for the last 10 years. Mostly focused, I would say, always on search engine optimization or marketing strategies. But yeah, mostly SEO. And recently, I decided I want to try to offer coverage to some of the companies who were asking me for help. So we opened this website, Dr. SEO, which actually it's kind of a free SEO guide that anybody can access and try to learn SEO by themselves.
Nice. Free guys, that's what I like most. It can earn you some traffic, I would say, and some money. So, and today we're gonna talk about Parasite SEO. So, quite a hot topic, I would say, not only the last months but the last years. Txema, could you tell us a little about it? What is it? Why is it Parasite? What does it mean?
Well, I mean, as the proper name says, parasites are organisms that they live in or within another organism called host. They normally feed and grow or multiply in a way that harms the host. However, they need this host to be alive to keep doing their activity. So for this reason, they rarely end up killing their host. And what they often do is carrying diseases or issues that could be life-threatening to the host. Well, in a similar way, when we talk about Parasite SEO, we refer to an amount of content that is placed on a third-party domain in order to benefit from that domain authority and obtaining a much better search engine rankings performance than if the content was placed on a website with a much lower authority. Now, it's very important that we consider Parasite. The content has to be quite unrelated to the main website topicality, because otherwise it would just be considered affiliation. If a website has a section trying to make money, that's totally normal, is what we call affiliation. You have informational content and transactional content. When we call Parasite, it's, let's say, a website about dog food and suddenly start adding content about sports betting or about casinos. Now, as an example, for example, if I open a blog and publish information and article about how to analyze markets and place bet on the Champions League matches, would probably have a very poor performance because it's a new website with no link building, with barely no authority. But if I publish the same exactly article on the New York Times, a very big reputable newspaper, the performance on Google of that second article is going to be much more successful and probably will be ranking among the top 10 pages, despite the article being exactly the same.
Nice. What are the main benefits of Parasite SEO, up to opinion?
Okay, so normally when you create a website, you will need to show to the search engines your expertise, your experience, your authority, the trustworthiness, what Google calls the EEAT. And this normally requires a lot of time. I mean, you don't show your expertise or you don't show your authority just by saying one great word. As we know in marketing, you need to have a sustainable reputation and you need to continue doing actions that people believe and build that trust. So because all this effort of content creation and link building would take a lot of time and quite a good number of resources, when we place this content on a website that already has a long history and a big authority, you can manage to get results in a record time that you could not expect on the previous case.
Yes, exactly. To sum up for our dear viewers, Parasite SEO is an SEO strategy where marketers or business leverage the high domain authority, which is DA, and you see these parameters on your hrefs for sure. These established websites, you rank their own content in search engine results. The content is often hosted on the authority side, benefiting from its credibility and ranking power. For sure, stay tuned, and we will share some examples of these strategies in the next several minutes. Txema, could you tell me what methods are there for implementing Parasite SEO in your strategies?
Well, there are several methods. They are quite ancient strategies. I mean, the guest posting we've been doing for link building purposes for a long time. It's one of them. It's one of the easiest methods of reaching an agreement with a high authority website. You can give them your content and pay to them in order to publish it on their domain. And this method, it's very similar to the link building. As I said, it's just posting an article on a third-party website, linking, this website will be linking to your own website or to some affiliate links you may have. But as I said, back then, when we used to do this just with link building purposes, the sole existence of the backlink was more important than the rankings of such article. Nobody was paying attention if this article was having traffic or not. As long as you have a link and the crawlers can go through it and you will benefit of that link juice, was enough. Now, this guest posting, it has plenty of examples on Outlook India, on several websites that you can just pay a sensible amount of money for publishing one article and it will go live. You can have some success for a short time because it also depends on how new is the content in order for rankings. But approximately for a month or two, you will benefit from this strategy. There are other examples of not so good strategies done when you try to publish something on a totally unrelated. I put before the example of a pet website and you're trying to build an article about casino or about sports betting. If you think like, why is a dog website, especially a dog website, let's say in the UK, trying to recommend a casino page in New Zealand? And if does the website has traffic or not? Is it interesting for the audience? Do you think that the people accessing there to buy dog food or just to find a treatment for their dog because it's a bit ill will be interested in clicking the link and going? So in these cases, it's, as I said, it's successful, but not that much. It's an older strategy. And nowadays, when you try to connect with topical intent, it benefits much more. Also, a few years ago, we began a trend of publishing on social media or PR platforms like Session, like LinkedIn, affiliate links or content with affiliate links. And this has somehow been addressed by some of the search engines already, including Google, but not totally, because still, if you Google some keywords, you will end up finding quite at the top of the SERP Reddit results, LinkedIn results, etc. This could be considered also some kind of guest posting, even though sometimes on social media you don't require to pay directly. But it's also quite of an old strategy that I see its future quite dark. Now, another of the strategies is what we call the Parasite subfolder. This technique consists on agreeing economically with a third-party website to install an independent backend on a folder of the root domain. This, let's say, has been implemented with many different websites. There's a quite popular one called nj.com, a news website in New Jersey, and they built this sports betting folder. It was super successful, especially on the New Jersey state, but it was penalized back in May. And now they built another one for casinos, which for the moment it's working, not super successfully, but there's big newspapers like The Independent in the UK. They also created folders called games or called gambling, and then they place their content there. The backend is totally independent, so the company, the affiliate company who purchased the rights to access to this one, they do not have access to the main content, but they just work as if the whole folder was the root domain. And then there's another strategy, which is, it's also kind of parasite. It's called expired domains. And basically what they do is purchasing a domain with a good number of historical backlinks and good authority and placing your content in it. There are several examples of foundations, like non-profit organizations, architecture websites, because these normally, if they show something, some architecture trends, they will get links from big entities like New York Times, big newspapers. And if you place there your gambling content or your crypto content, suddenly Google would get confused and would think that your website is more powerful than it really is, and will rank your content much higher. Now, there are several examples I was checking, and maybe later you can share on the comments of the video of this type of architecture website. Or I found one, it was like a security at work website. So probably people was linking there to security advices, and many big companies were linking there. So in the end, you are buying a domain totally unrelated and placing your transactional content on a website that it's merely informational.
Nice. I didn't want to interrupt you. You mentioned almost basic directions, main directions of where should we go with Parasite SEO. And this last part about expired domains, very interesting. For sure, we will write an article with you where we will mention all the examples. You can subscribe to our channel, check our blog at peakyads.com, and there will be an article with all of that. But nevertheless, could you tell us some tools how we can find those expired domains and how to use them?
So as you know, when you purchase a domain, normally you purchase like a 1 year, a 2 year, a 5 year package. And sometimes it happens that a big company decides to change their branding, or they decide just to change the website, and they stop renewing this registrar. So those domains, they have a countdown when exactly the moment that they will be lacking of any owner. And many tools, they have access to this data and they publish it. They make like a marketplace. There are dozens of them, like very popular ones like GoDaddy. They apart from selling the domains that you go and search for a domain, they have like a marketplace. It's free to access, and you can check there what domains are expiring. Now, every person I work, they have their own favorites, and personally, I tried many of them, and I cannot say this tool is better or that one is better. I work with many free platforms like Namecheap, GoDaddy that I said, Odys Global, Flippa, SEO Domain. These platforms may require additional use of SEO tools, as you mentioned, Ahrefs, Majestic, SEMrush. And of course, there are other paid platforms. There are other tools to find these expired domains that you need to pay. They normally have extra features. They will analyze directly what is the traffic, what is if they have a negative or a positive trend, other many features that you normally need other tools to analyze. And these paid tools, like for example, Domain Hunter Gatherer, they are easy to use, because instead of having 3 screens and getting the information from here and putting it here and checking there, you can get all in one. But personally, for me, doing SEO at a later stage after I purchase the domain, I already need these tools. So I normally go with the free ones. That's normally okay.
Nice. And to put something on the top of the previous part of guest posting of social networks, of crowd links, maybe it's kind of connected also. Here is a list of some examples. Some of them you already mentioned. It's medium.com, LinkedIn, Reddit, Quora, WordPress.com, and other big sources which you can use with high DR ratings. All of them has mostly like 90 plus domain authority up to hrefs, and you can use what for. Why should we do this guest posting or Parasite SEO at all? It helps you. It helps you with quick rankings. It helps you with low cost entry on the market, with lead generation, with niche targeting. And up to last researches, we see that, for example, a good Quora answer with a relevant keyword, with a good link, can be number 3, number 2, number 1 on Google in several days, just several days. The same about guest posts on Medium. It increases your website traffic by 30% up to researches. So it's a way to become an answer for a Google query in a very short period of time and in a very cheap manner, I would say. So you should definitely use those technologies. But as it's called Parasite, maybe it's not only white hat technology. Maybe it's not widely allowed by Google. And as you mentioned, you cannot mention a good casino website on the puppy website or on the childhood, something about childhood, kids, toys, and so on. So I guess it's somehow limited. So could you tell us what does Google like or accept in part of Parasite SEO up to your expertise?
Well, I mean, obviously, Google doesn't like Parasite SEO. In the end, it's an SEO strategy to try to trick Google algorithm. Google, on one side, they have their guidelines, which, on the other hand, they don't follow fully. But let's be honest. According to their guidelines, Parasite SEO, it's something that it's wrong. It's a trick done by SEOs and developed to beat their algorithm, which in fact, even though it's currently very popular, the Parasite SEO, and Google, it's really trying to stop it, still they didn't manage to add it to their algorithm. They've been more than 2 years trying to fight this Parasite SEO, and the best that they managed to do, it was back in May 2024, they started the site reputation abuse policy, but it's still based on manual actions and manual reviewers rather than being part of the algorithm.
Yes, totally agree. You should do it in a smart way. And for example, up to last researches from Search Engine Journal or Ahrefs, about 25 or 30% of Parasite SEO tactics are too spammy or over optimized, like you do it in a stupid way, and for sure Google will find you. But in the same time, about 70% of compliance, which means those SEO Parasite SEO technologies, they're still alive. They work. Posts are working. So if it looks like natural, it can live forever and bring you profits. So, dear marketers, share with us in the comments below your story about Parasite SEO. If you already use it, how successful is it? What percentage of your testimonials, guest posts, or whatever stay alive, and what techniques are you using? Share with us your experience and maybe some inspiration for the next videos. So based on the HubSpot research, for example, 60% of marketers believe Parasite SEO will remain effective for niche keywords in competitive industries in the upcoming years. Txema, what your thoughts about it? Is Parasite SEO a strategy for the future, how to use it in long term?
Well, no, not at least in a long-term future. Google, as I said, already introduced in May 24 their site reputation abuse policy. But they didn't manage to include it on the algorithm, as I said. And this requires manual checkers to identify these strategies, go one by one, checking the website, build proof that this site is built against Google policies, make a report, and then if the investigators consider that the site is subject to a penalty, then Google will start de-indexing most of the pages, which means that once the website is reported, there will be an analyst or a number of analysts considering if it's a situation where a manual penalty could be put in place. So while I consider that at the moment it requires quite a long time to identify these cases, so we're talking about maybe 1 year, 2 years, in a long term, I believe that this can be somehow integrated in the algorithm. I don't know if in 3 years or in 4. And I'm afraid that another SEO strategy will touch rock bottom, and we will need to invent something else.
Yes, exactly. That's how it works. They invent their tools, we invent our tools. That's like forever. And as Google managers say, what I've heard from them, that about 80% of manual penalties can be appealed successfully if the violations are corrected on the website in those posts. And however, 20% of those penalties are permanent and involve complete removal from the index of your website. So be careful, do it in a smart way. And do you know anything, by the way, about the process of penalties up to your experience? What do you know about it?
Well, while Google keeps secrecy about their processes in order to avoid the webmasters who breach their processes to be far from their investigation methods. This is like when I used to work for an operator, and we used to block accounts to the people who was gambling, doing promo abuse or doing like cross betting in order to obtain benefits. And we were just closing the account, and the people was calling like, why did you close my account? Because they knew they were doing something wrong, and they wanted to know what they did wrong. How did we detect it in order to avoid it next time and continue doing the same, but in a different way? So in that case, our reply was always, you just breach the terms and conditions, and you should read the terms and conditions, which normally is like 800 pages, and good luck with that. So in this case, Google does the same. They tell you, you did this. They are right because they have proofs, and they know that you know that. But they don't want to tell you what exactly they found on your website that spotted, put a red light on the radar in order to see this. I have my own thoughts, which is that many webmasters or SEOs reach a complaint like, this result, it's Parasite, this result breaches. This is something that anyone can do. If you Google how to report a website to Google, you will find a form and you can make a report. And I guess they have like a red line. If you get more than 1,000 or 10,000 of these claims, of these reports, then they will start investigation themselves. So while Google goes filing these reports, at some point they will decide that it's the time for the manual reviewers to check upon websites with high amount of reports. And suddenly, if you are doing any of these, you will find on your Google Search Console that from one day to the other one, your traffic has gone almost zero. And if you go and check, there's a tab saying manual actions on Google Search Console. It will tell you your site has a manual penalty because of the site reputation abuse. And they will not give further information. They only give you like a button to click. They say, whenever you fixed everything, click here to validate. But obviously, you cannot be clicking like, I do one thing, and then you validate. And then normally they will take some time to review the website. If you didn't fix everything that you had to fix, then they will reply you, no, I'm sorry, the website is not fixed. And the next time you claim for a review, it will take even longer. So this is a bit like Peter and the Wolf story. You cannot claim, hey, validate my thing again and again and again, because then Google will stop validating your stuff. And the last effect is that obviously Google removes your results from the website. Now, there are two types of penalty. There can be a partial penalty, as when we were talking, for example, of the folder case, when the websites build a folder for a third party and they place all that third party content there. Normally, the first penalty is towards these folders, or it could be only to specific articles. Even if you don't do a folder, but you just publish news that they are considered Parasite SEO, they could ban, I don't know, 30% of your articles, or it could be total. Let's say if you continue doing the same strategy once and another, there are many websites that they got gambling folder penalized, so they created casino folder and they put the same. Then they created iGaming folder once that casino was penalized and they put the same. So then they said, listen, this is not that you did a mistake, it's like you are consistently doing. So they will end up de-indexing your whole website, which is very bad. And it's the way that Parasite SEO can actually damage the original website.
Yeah, I would say 1,000 claims. It's quite a mercy. That's quite a huge amount of claims you should get to be removed from index. So keeping that in mind, we still have some hope to use those technologies. But it's not so easy as we thought in the very beginning of this podcast, that it's quite a nice technology, easy technology to use, and so on. So do you think, is it profitable to use this technology within your business?
Well, because of what we just explained, Parasite website may probably have a few months of success at the minimum until it can be penalized. It's also true that Google has been accelerating their processes on these reviews. So probably, if at the beginning I was saying that there were websites with 2 years of success doing Parasite SEO, these times will become shorter and shorter. So the time of success will be smaller. But the truth is that in some cases, the revenue is so big, so much bigger than the expenses, that there will still be people executing these strategies. Also, you need to consider what they consider Parasite and why not. I mean, there are clear red lines, but there are other gray lines that maybe reviewers cannot find a proper justification to say that this is a Parasite website or not.
Are these penalties like definite, and could you provide us with some examples of those?
No, I mean, as I said, there is like a validation button. So first of all, if you adjust your website to Google guidelines after receiving a penalty, you can always lift this type of penalty. And as I said, you can claim this to Google. In some cases, the reviewers analyze that your content, it's totally the third-party content, let's call it your Parasite folder, your Parasite content, it's totally independent. But it's sometimes very difficult to draw a straight line about what is right and wrong. So it could be that the reviewers made a mistake. It could be that maybe you got a lot of claims because someone hired I don't know, a Pakistani group to create 1,000 complaints on your website, one of your competitors.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So guys, click on the like button if you'd like us to prepare a complete guide about Parasite SEO on Peaky Ads blog, together with marvelous, outstanding Txema Hermoso. For sure, we will collect all the insights there and share it with you. Proceeding with the structure of our podcast, what about legal part of SEO? What do you think about it? Is it legal? What is the compliance about it?
Well, the thing is, there is not a global regulation about content in internet. Even for very clear cases like underage pornography or something like that, everything is subject to local regulations. So in this case, we need to review each of the country policies where our content is live. And for example, governments like the Australians may ban pages and even the whole domain if they breach the regulations, for example, related to gambling. But others may not have a defined regulation. So there is somehow a legal loophole, meaning that doing Parasite or something that sounds not so legit, it's totally legal unless a country specifies the opposite. One thing I forgot to mention, because we were talking about these red lines, and I wanted to share some examples to make you think about what could be considered parasite and what not. For example, let's say we have a website talking about traveling. They build content about traveling in a cruise line. They build content about going here or there. And within their content, they advertise cruise lines. They say, oh, go with Costa Cruises because it's much better than Norwegian, or then you have this other option. Well, this sounds totally related. Yeah, the website somehow needs to make money, so they advertise travel agencies or cruise lines, etc. Now, if we think about the opposite side, the New York Times that we spoke, talking about sports betting, it's quite unrelated. So this one could be subject to a penalty. But let's not forget that New York Times also has a sports section. So if we integrate it within the sports section, there are other websites like Sports Live Score. I follow these when I cannot watch a football match or something. And if you're checking the live scores, wouldn't you also, as a customer, enjoy checking the odds at that time of how much is Barcelona or Manchester to score the next goal? So since this content would be interesting for the users, in my opinion, should not be, even though that is transactional, should not be considered parasite. So we can do our efforts when we build a parasite website, try not to cross that red line that it will be considered. Let's say the previous traveling website, they give advice about casinos when you are going to visit Las Vegas or Macau. That for me sounds totally legit. A crypto website recommending a number of websites where you can make purchases in cryptocurrencies. That's quite logical. But if a crypto website suddenly starts giving you odds for Real Madrid or Liverpool, that sounds weird, So,
but if you top up on those odds with crypto, why not? Yeah, talking about betting techniques, we top up with crypto. So you can try to explain it.
Exactly. The secret of Parasite is do Parasite in a way that doesn't look like Parasite.
Yes. Very, very interesting point. And coming back to legal part of this question, you mentioned some examples about Australia, about other GEOs. What do you think, what risks can an authority website have when agreeing to do Parasite SEO?
Okay, so as I mentioned previously, the risk for a website accepting third-party content are mainly three. One of them is that Google could penalize the whole domain in the worst scenario. Websites can be blocked in a specific country if the content published by the third party breaches the country regulations. We were talking about a live sport website, and live sports, let's say, they are allowed in Australia, but suddenly you start offering betting content and betting odds, and that is forbidden in Australia. So suddenly your whole website gets blocked in a country, despite it was only a portion of the website that was doing this. So if you are not the SEO guy searching to execute Parasite SEO, but you are just a website owner who has been offered a deal like that, you need to consider this. And in a similar way as this last one, the website could even suffer legal consequences for providing restricted content. I mean, I'm not number one with legal, but let's say if a regulator that is very strict, like Australia or something in Asia, they consider that you've been offering to their audience in their country something that it's illegal, I can assume that the government can make legal claims, and that could bring you like huge, stupid fines. So you need to consider also, if you are this person who has been offered a Parasite SEO agreement, where are they going to deliver this country, and if what they're going to deliver it's allowed, or what could be the consequences. So always check with a proper legal advisor, not me, but keep in mind there could be these consequences related to geo-targeting, topicalities, limits, and everything has to be defined in the contract.
Exactly. You always should do it in a smart way. So we unveil some secrets, I would say, about Parasite SEO. Stay tuned, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, on social media. We will provide the complete guide in text form for you. And we've been discussing about iGaming mostly because we have huge experience in this industry. But what I would like to mention, I know that there are not only iGaming specialists watching our channel, our podcast. What I would like to mention, you can use those techniques in part of Parasite SEO for almost any industry. For example, last researches from SEMrush told us that about 20% of affiliate marketing traffic in e-commerce, for example, comes from those Parasite SEO techniques. I know it's widely used in crypto, in finance, even in education industries. So feel free to implement it within your business. So it's time to talk about pros and cons, I would say, about those technology. Txema, could you summarize it for us?
Yeah, well, the pros are very straightforward. We know that it brings astonishing results in very short time. Without investment on this time, and it requires a much smaller infrastructure, because if you want to create a big affiliate, you will need a lot of developers, you will need a big team to establish all the new policies and the systems. While with Parasite SEO, you already have the platform, you just need to put your content, do some SEO strategies like injecting traffic or links, and that's it, and you will get the results in 1, 2, 3 months. On the other side, we know that these strategies, they may have a short lifespan. The projects, they could last for 6 months, 1 year, and we never know how fast is Google going to improve in the detection of it. We also spoke about Google or government penalties, which we need to be aware that this is a possibility. And well, even though you can set a Parasite website quite fast, it requires a sensible high initial investment. Why? Because these third party, these websites that they own the authority, they're not going to allow you to put your content there for €5. They're going to ask you for huge amounts, because they already asked someone, and then you need to offer them double than that. So they know that there's a big business there, and they also are aware that there are certain risks. So nobody's going to take certain risks unless you compensate for them. So they may require quite a big investment, considering that maybe in 6 months the project could have been gone. If it's done properly, and as we spoke before, in an intelligent way, considering the risks and balancing where are you putting your content, geo-targeting correctly, it could be very successful, and it could be lasting long in time. But if not, then we are risking that a high investment can be cut to nothing in very short time. So, as I said, overall, I don't see a bright future to building a Parasite web, let's say Parasite, as we spoke at the beginning, takes advantage of the host site. But instead, what I believe is in a new concept that I call symbiotic SEO. So it's kind of, symbiosis stands for the interaction between two different organisms who are living in a close physical association, and typically they both take advantage of each other. So in this case, if we build a system in which the third-party website putting the content can provide good money to the owner of the website with high authority, and they both benefit and there is no penalty, they always walk within these gray lines rather than crossing the red one. There is a future for this. What it has no future, it's just doing things without putting your head on it.
Yes, exactly. So I like this take about symbiotic SEO very much, and about this smart doing SEO also, because I know there are a lot of specialists who just buying links in a stupid way for $50 or whatever with AI generated content, like without any thoughts about that it's gonna be checked. Google will improve its algorithms. AI is developing not only in content side but on the analytical side also. You should keep it in mind and do it in a smart way. To put something on the top of your conclusions, I like digits, I like statistics also. So there are some quotes from some guys, also I guess industry experts, such companies like Ahrefs. They mentioned that 40% of Parasite SEO campaigns result in measurable traffic increase within 30 days. So it's quite a fast grow and quite a high probability of success with using those technologies. Up to backlink, about 50% faster ranking for long tail keywords compared to building authority on a new domain. So you can combine those technologies on new domains with those Parasite SEO. And up to HubSpot, businesses report about 200% ROI when using high authority platforms for content syndication. And however, about 25% of campaigns face limitations due to platform policy changes. That's what Txema, you mentioned in the very end, that you should do it in a smart way and think long term. If something will change, will it affect your posts or not? So to finalize it, I would like to say that Parasite SEO is a cost-effective way to leverage high authority platforms for quick rankings and targeted traffic. However, its success depends on ethical practices, compliances with platform rules, and diversification. While it offers short-term wins, marketers, our viewers, must balance opportunities with long-term strategies to maintain growth and audience trust. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. Do smart SEO, stay bold, subscribe to our channel, and see you on the next podcast. Txema, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure as always.
It was my pleasure as usual, Vasilii. Take care.
See you soon. Take care.